Hi everyone, welcome to StunnerShare. So today what is that we are going to see? First of all, we'll go to the comments again. Actually this comment and few of the comments for this particular video saying that they want the post-market analysis or at least upload the pre-market analysis using the pivot concepts so that they will be beneficial out of that. So that is what the comments I am receiving. So for that I actually do not know what to respond because the thing here is I thought that people are not interested much and they don't want the analysis, but now looks like people like weekly doesn't help for doing intraday. So weekly and monthly analysis are not going to help them at all. So that is why they are asking for feedback. So I do not know what should I actually do. If you guys don't want the weekly and monthly analysis, I'm okay. If you guys want the intraday analysis, please let me know so that I'll be doing it. But at least 10 people, if at all 10 people says that in the comment section, then I'll be like going ahead to do that. So what is that we are going to cover in this video? So in this previous videos, I've uploaded the March month analysis on intraday time frame, how the Nifty performed, and now we are going to do the same for April month and see whether the market has actually given some returns or not. So we are going to consider bullish, bearish, wick reversal setup and also the other criterias like CPR and Camarilla and see whether the market has performed good or not. So that is what we are going to fetch in this particular journal, and let us see what is our result which has happened on April month. Okay, so we are starting with April 1st 2024. The CPR is a higher value CPR and the Camarilla is also higher value Camarilla. So first of all, I will cover CPR and then I'll go for Camarilla. Let's not confuse. Okay. So this particular video, we are going to deal only with CPR and maybe if at all time permits, I will also do Camarilla, and separately I will do bearish and bullish wick reversal setup with the customized indicator whichever I am having on the volume side. Okay, clear? So with respect to CPR, it is a higher value CPR, so the expectation is that any pullback towards the CPR can be a buying opportunity, but there is no pullback, so we cannot do anything. And in the case of Camarilla is also a higher value Camarilla. So what is expected is that if at all it opens between H3 and L3, then any pullback towards the L3 can be a buying opportunity. If there is a close above the H4, then still that is a buying opportunity towards H5. But at least a small pullback towards H4 or H3 is the ideal scenario to go long. So in any of the case, I don't see anything happening on April 1st. So we don't have any trades here. Now coming to April 2nd, the CPR is a higher value, the Camarilla relationship is also higher value. Before to that, let me close H5 and all those, because right now we don't need that. Okay, so CPR and Camarilla, okay, higher value. So the expectation is that if the candles are opening below and closing below the CPR, then it means that the bullish view is rejected and market might remain bearish. So any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as a selling opportunity here. Yeah, there was a pullback happened, but this is a one big candle which has actually happened, and after that we were not able to get any follow through or any breakthrough happening over here. So no trades at this positions. Clear? Now we are going for April 3rd. Lower value CPR, overlapping lower value Camarilla relationship. Actually the candle has opened below L3 and L4, and after giving a gap down opening, then it started moving towards CPR, and after moving towards CPR, this has formed a bullish engulfing pattern. Okay, so those who are opted for membership videos, you can visit this particular videos on like what happens on a bullish engulfing pattern. So after this bullish engulfing pattern, what is the result, what can be done, what is the profit or risk reward ratio you have to set up, and all those things you can watch in that video so that you will be able to understand out of it. But here we actually do not have any setup. There might be one question here, this is a wick reversal setup, yes, and the question will be like it is rejected at L3, but I would prefer to go and face some rejection at the SCPR. Why? Because the distance between L3 and CPR is very less, and the candle is showing a lot of strength. So reversing at this point can be very risky. So we have to wait. And after that, this formed a bullish engulfing pattern, and after the bullish engulfing pattern, market has actually moved good. So to know what is the factor about it, risk reward setup and all those, kindly watch the backtesting video, so you have to opt in for that. Clear? And after that, it started facing resistance at the H3 where it formed a wick reversal setup. This setup you can consider. Why? Because this is a wick reversal setup, and at this wick reversal setup we have a distance towards CPR. Okay, so the risk reward here involved is 26 points. I have actually told you what is the criteria to be followed when there is a very less risk reward setup. So you can consider here, but there will be some questions or some people saying that it has not closed below H3. How can I do that? If you are not feeling comfortable here, then move towards here. Okay, so let me consider this as a possible entry. So 3rd of April. Okay, so CPR or Camarilla, actually it is both. So I will say H3 rejection. 2-day relationship is overlapping lower value Camarilla. And reversal setup, yes, it is a wick reversal setup. Stop loss points, how many is the stop loss points? 618 and 592, 88, 26 points is the stop loss point. Yes, we have got a trade, sell side trade, and the result is we are expecting 1:1 at least. Okay, so we should at least get 29,592 minus 26 points, right? 26 points. So that must give you 22,566. Okay, did we get that? 22,566 we have got over here. Okay, so yes, we have got 1:1 easily, and we will check whether we are able to get 1:2. Okay, 22,540 did we get or not? And again coming down 22,553, 22,550 and 22,535. Yes, 1:2 also got. So 1:1 and 1:2 happened. Okay, let me insert one column to the right, and again, so this is 1:1 and should be yes. So let me put it as 26 and 1:2, that is 52. Trade success. Clear? Now let us go for the next possible trade, and this is a narrow CPR and lower value CPR and overlapping lower value Camarilla relationship as well. And if you see, the candle has opened gap up and closed above the CPR, that actually tells that the bearish scenario is rejected, and if you see, any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as a selling opportunity. And again, if you see that was a brutal fall, and this single candle engulfed the CPR and then started coming down. And again, if people are like more concentrated towards the CPR and wick reversal setup, if you see, the candles started breaking, closing below the CPR, and then started closed below the L3 as well, then took support, started facing resistance at the CPR. So if I remove this drawing, okay, if you see, this is a wick reversal setup formed at the CPR. It was not able to break this small line of CPR, and what is expected to happen. So if you see 4th of April, and we are seeing rejection at the CPR, and then this is also overlapping. All these are same. Okay, and then the SL is around 539 and 511, which is 28 points as SL, and this is also a sell side trade. And now let us use a calculator here. So 22511 minus 28, so 22483 did we get or not? 22483 is done, minus 28. 22455 did we get or not? Yes, we have got. So we have got 1:1 and 1:2 as well. Okay, and this trade is success. It has gone more than that, but right now I am focusing on 1:2, 1:1 and 1:2. Slowly we can see what can be done further. And again, now this candle formed a bullish engulfing CPR on the particular CPR line. Now see the video on the backtesting video on what needs to be done, so you will be able to understand what has actually happened. And after that, it formed a rejection at H4, but we are not going to consider that, so hold on. Next CPR, if you see on 5th, it is a wide CPR, and the Camarilla relationship is also a bit wider. And if you also see, it has formed a bullish golden pivot zone as well. But the candles opened at the CPR, closed at the CPR. So whenever the candles opened at the CPR and closed at the CPR, the expected day to be range bound. If you see, the entire day remained range bound. So whenever the candles are opening at the CPR and closing at the CPR, and if the CPR is big wide compared to previous day CPR, it is better to avoid the trade on that particular day. No matter whether we get any good signals or not, I would tell you that better to avoid the trade. Say even here we have formed a doji reversal setup which is forming an SL of 36 points. We would have easily got some points over here, but as the candles are roaming at the CPR, it is better to avoid the trade. And the next day, if you see, it has formed an inside value CPR and also a bullish golden pivot zone. What is bullish golden pivot zone? Simple. If the Camarilla L3 is forming inside the CPR range, then that is called as bullish golden pivot zone. And the CPR is a inside value CPR because in today's CPR range is completely inside the previous CPR range. So that is called as inside value CPR. And the candles has opened above the CPR and closed above the CPR and actually closed above the H4. And if you see, it has also taken support as the H3. If this type of scenario, if you are seeing like whenever there is a close above H4 in the first candle and it is an inside value CPR or an inside range CPR, and also if you notice that the H3 is taken as support, you can consider a long entry at this position. And if, say for example, now we are going to take a trade on 8th of this, and this is CPR and Camarilla, okay, because it is inside value and it has formed a wick reversal setup. And let us go for the stop loss, which is okay 22,672 minus 22,625, which is around 47 points. I have advised that 45 to 50 points more than that avoid. 45 to 50 itself is risky, but actually the candle has formed at the opening, so we are taking this trade. So now we have to go above this. So plus 22,672. Did we get 22,719? Okay, 22,719 we have got over here, plus 47, 22,766. 766 also we have got over here. So we have got 47 plus 94. We have got success in this trade as well. So all these analysis you have to do to be profitable in any of the trade. And if you wanted to hold the trade till EOD, that's up to you, and I am not calculating that. If at all needed, I will calculate at the end of the video. Clear? And the next day also formed a higher value CPR, bullish golden pivot zone is also formed. But if you see what has happened here, it is a ulta which has happened here. It has closed above the CPR, yes. It has opened above the CPR, yes. But it faced rejection at the H4 and closed below H3. So it is better that you avoid this particular trade. Okay, though it has actually not followed below this, it started moving upside. It is advisable, if you see this sort of rejection candle at the opening, it is advised that you ignore any trade and you wait for any proper setup to form. Okay, so assume that if you have taken, like now this is also not a closed candle, actually the closed candle formed over here. So after this, if you have considered any entry, what would be your stop loss? You have to either keep your safest stop loss here or you have to keep your stop loss here. That is why I say whenever you see this kind of rejection, it is better to avoid the trade. Clear? And after that, we have not got any proper setup, though some rejection seen at the H3, but no reversal setup discussed in Secret of Pivot Boss book is here. So we are ignoring the trade. And the next day, this is not a bearish engulfing pattern. Please understand, this is not a bearish golden pivot zone. Please understand, a golden pivot zone means H3 or L3 should be inside the CPR range, not above the CPR range. So here H3 is visibly seen above the CPR range. So this is not called as a golden pivot zone. And if you see, it is a higher value CPR and the Camarilla is a overlapping lower value CPR. When there is some difference between CPR view and Camarilla view, better to stay cautious, because CPR says higher value CPR, that means bullish scenario, and Camarilla says overlapping lower value overlapping lower value Camarilla relationship, that means it is a mildly bearish scenario. So when these kind of scenarios happens, it is better you stay cautious. Clear? Now if you also notice that it first candle opened at the CPR and closed above the closed above the CPR and forming a bearish wick reversal setup. If you wanted to take an entry, you can consider this as an entry, and your expected levels would be this point, or 1:1 or 1:2. So let us calculate the range. So 10th of April. So this is at the CPR. This is CPR is higher value CPR and formed a wick reversal setup, and stop loss points is 22789 minus 22758, 31 points. So we can take and we are going for a buy side trade. So the entry got triggered and another wick reversal setup is formed. It is always better if you consider this as a stop loss, like trailing stop loss, or if you still wanted to hold, you can hold this as stop loss. So the stop loss got hit here. Okay, trade is SL hit. Okay, good. Now we are going further. Another wick reversal setups which is all forming over here, but it is better to stay cautious in these particular trading zones, because again I am repeating, CPR is forming a higher value relationship, but the Camarilla is forming a overlapping lower value relationship. So stay cautious. So if we are facing one loss, then it is better stay safe. Clear? Now we are going for the next day. CPR is also, and Camara and CPR are also forming a higher value relationship showing bullishness, and this is also not a golden pivot zone because it is visible that L3 is lying below the CPR. Okay, and now if you see, the candles has opened below the CPR and closed below the CPR, showing that there is a bullish bias getting rejected and the bearish view is coming in, and any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as a selling opportunity, but there was no pullback to selling opportunity. But the candle started moving down. We will not be able to take any specific trades over here. But if you are adherent follower of wick reversal setup or secret of pivot boss concept, if you see, there are doji reversal setup, wick reversal setup and wick reversal setup. The SL is getting reduced in each of these cases. Maybe you can consider this as a proper setup to go for any long entry, but it's up to you to decide. For now, I'm not considering any trades over here. Now coming to 15th of April, it is a bearish golden pivot zone and bearish view in CPR as well as in Camarilla. Price opened gap down and bearish view is accepted. So what is expected here is like any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as a selling opportunity, but it started facing resistance at L4 and then started coming down. Here we do not have any proper setup to deal with, and again there might be one question coming in here: can we consider some entries over here because doji reversal setup and a wick reversal setup? So if you see over here, doji reversal setup, wick reversal setup, breaking the doji reversal setup, again forming a wick reversal setup, reducing the risk. But here if another wick reversal setup formed with reducing risk within this wick reversal setup, then I would have preferred an entry. Otherwise I will not prefer an entry over here. Now let me go to 16th of April. Again same view, bearish view in Camarilla, bearish golden pivot zone, Camarilla, CPR, everything is bearish, but no pullback towards the CPR has happened. And if you see, there are multiple rejections happening over here, so you have to stay cautious at this zone. These two are wick reversal setups. Okay, the SL is getting reduced, but this is a reversal wick reversal setup which is happening. So in these situations, you have to be very cautious whenever you wanted to go for a trade. It is better whenever these bearish and bullish wick reversal setups are happening, always avoid those kind of trades. Now again coming to the next day, it is a lower value CPR, lower value Camarilla, but the candle opened above the CPR and closed above the CPR. And if you see, it has opened below the H3 and close at the H4. So any entry above this can be considered as a buying entry, or you need to wait for the pullback towards the CPR for an entry. And if you see here, it has formed a wick reversal setup, so we can consider an entry over here. Okay, this is formed as a CPR and this is a lower value CPR and a wick reversal setup, and the high to low difference is 30 points, and we are going for buy side, and it is simple calculation. Okay, 230 we have to get. We have got 230 and 260 also we have got 60. Okay, this is successful trade. Okay, next possible scenarios, and it has still gone till more than those many points, but no problem. And again there is a huge fall, and here it has again formed a wick reversal setup, forming a resistance at the CPR zone. If you still wanted to go for an entry at this point, you can still go for an entry. So if I wanted to consider an entry over here, okay, then again this is going to be wick reversal setup. And what is the risk here? So okay, 22,197 minus 22,159, 38 points is the risk. So 38, and this is sell side. Okay, and wait, so this is here. So 22,159 minus 38, 22,121. Yes, I've got minus 38, so 22,083. So I have got all those points. So 38 here and 76 here. This is successful. Okay, now we are going for the next possible trade. Here is a lower value CPR, bearish golden pivot zone, all those has occurred, but the candles closed below the L3 and L4. So below this we can go for a sell entry, but it went and formed a rejection at the CPR. And again I'm repeating, this is a bearish scenario, bullish engulfing scenario, bullish good closing candle we are seeing. So stay cautious, but we can still consider an entry over here. So 19th of April we are considering entry, and it is a lower value wick reversal setup. All these are formed. Okay, and this is 22,160 minus 22,115, so 45 points. And again I'm repeating, when I told over here 47, that formed on a first candle, but 45 points forming at end of the day, nearing at 2 o'clock. It is better to avoid any such trades at this zone. Okay, now let us still calculate the stop loss. 22,115 minus 45, 22,070. It has not hit, so that is going to be a SL hit trade. Okay, it is better to avoid these cases. Now coming over here, bullish higher value CPRs, but no pullback towards the CPR, so avoiding this trade. And then here bullish engulfing, bullish golden pivot zone and higher value CPRs, but no pullback towards the CPR. Yeah, though the reversal candles has formed over here, but still I would say that it has not touched the CPR. And also if you see there is a rejection at these zones at the H3, so that means the possible rejections can happen throughout the day. So maybe if you still wanted to consider an entry, you should have considered an entry over here. So 23rd of April is the entry, possible entry, I would say. 23.4, and this is CPR higher value wick reversal, but this is at H3. Okay, and the risk involved over here is 22,417 minus 22,390. 27 points is the risk, and this is for sell side. I think both got hit, 27 and 54. Let me calculate that. I have a meeting in 4 minutes, so I am doing it in a very faster manner. I'm sorry for that. So if you see 27, right? So 22,390 minus 27, it is 22,363. Yes, I have got minus 27. So 22,336 I have not got. So I am closing the day at the end of the day. So it is 22,354. So what should I do is 22,390 minus 22,354. I am closing. So 36 points. So this is for 36. Okay, now let me go for next. See over here, this as said here also. Okay, there was one day which I have told here, same way it has taken support, it has actually formed a bearish scenario at the CPR at the H3 and rejected at the H4. So I would personally avoid these cases. So it is recommended to avoid any of the scenarios over here. But again, it has closed above this, and if you still wanted to go for an entry, it's up to you. But I would personally do not consider any entries at this point. I would wait for any pullback towards the CPR for any entry. Clear? Now higher value CPR and Camarilla, but opened below the CPR and Camarilla, so possible bearish is there, and any pullback towards the CPR can be considered selling entry, but it went towards here and formed a rejection. So I would not consider any entry over here. I would rather consider a rejection at H3 or support or rejection at the CPR zone. So no entries at these particular zones. Clear? And coming towards 26th of April, higher value CPR, higher value Camarilla opened at the H3, above the H3. So I would prefer an entry above this, but no entry, then started coming down, and it came towards the CPR at this zone for an entry, but it has not touched the CPR. So it has touched the CPR, but at the last part of the day, so no entries over here for 26th. On 29th of April, opened at the CPR and closed above the CPR. Any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as an buying opportunity, and if you see, it is forming a candle, but I don't see any proper reversal setups over here, and started moving upside. But I would honestly say there is no proper setup for me here. If at all you wanted to go for an entry, as there is a close above H4, and maybe you can consider an entry above this 22,660, but the SL is very big, around 54 points, so it is better to avoid. But if you have taken a trade, and you can trail it and then go for it. So but anyways, I would not have considered any trade at this point. Coming towards April 30th, last of April, I would say that opened above the CPR and closed above the CPR, higher value CPR, higher value Camarilla relationship, and bullish golden pivot zone. I would wait for an entry at the CPR, and any pullback towards the CPR can be considered as a buying opportunity. But rather than that, it opened near to H3 and started consolidating at H3. So no close above H4 for long entry, no rejection at the H3 for a short entry. So no entries on 30th of April. So if you see on, say for example, on April we have got 8 trades. Out of 8 trades we have got 2 SL hit trades, and if you also notice, totally 196 points we have got for 1:1, and we have got 374 points we have got for 1:2, and if you also see this one, which is around 81 points. So in 1:1, say for example here 196 minus 81, around 110 points we have got for 1:1, and in 1:2, if you see, we have got around 280 or 290 points in 1:2. So this is the success rate what we have got if you are considering only wick reversal setup and CPR Camarilla as a support or resistance layer, and how are we dealing with that. So this much analysis just I am doing so that we are able to get easily what is the result of it. So now you guys tell me whether you need post market analysis or not, and whether you guys are interested to do any of these trades. So that's it from my side. If you feel the content is good, kindly give a like, share and subscribe, and please let me know if this analysis is very useful for you guys. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned for more videos.